Good afternoon, this is Marie from Mercy Med, and we're here today to talk about how to eat healthy during Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's a wonderful time to spend with our families, and food has always been a big part for me and my family, but traditionally we have been known to overeat. And so what I am going to do today is show some healthy examples and how to best manage your eating while you're celebrating and enjoying one another. Traditionally, we know that turkey is served at Thanksgiving, and turkey is actually a really good protein source. You'll know that the white meat has less calories and fat than the dark meat, and that if you take the skin off, it's even less, but it's a definite good protein source. And you can see that we have some turkey there, and I had looked up some of the values, and it says 3.5 ounces of the white meat turkey with the skin has about 177 calories, so that's not bad at all. Next, we'll think about what are the side dishes, and a lot of people think about mashed potatoes, we think about stuffing. We also think about maybe the candied sweet potatoes. Well, today we've got a couple examples. We have a different form than most of us are used to of the cornbread stuffing, where we're using the quinoa as with some raisins. It looks like we've got some yams in there and some pecans. And this is actually lower glycemic, and it's also got more protein in it. So this is maybe an alternative to your cornbread stuffing. I was looking up at it, and it says that our stuffing for about 1/2 cup has 200 calories and about 11 grams of fat. So that's quite a bit of fat. Also, the candied sweet potatoes for a 1/2 cup has about 305 calories and 4 grams of fat. But if you eat just a plain baked sweet potato without anything on it, you can cut that down to less than 150. The next thing we're talking about is like our cranberries. Everybody is familiar with the cranberry sauce out of the can that we get once or twice a year. Well, this is has about 110 calories for 1/6 of a can. But look at the fresh cranberries that you can use with your cranberry relish, and this will have more fiber for you and have more of the nutrients. So you can have things that you like. Traditionally, we all remember the green bean casseroles that has the mushroom soup, and then it has the fried onion rings on the top that you bake. Well, that kind of has quite a bit of calories in it. The green bean casserole, a 1/2 cup, has about 227 calories. So you can see this are sauteed green beans, and it has a little bit of some slivers of some almonds on it. Retains a lot of nutrients. It has fewer calories and less fat. So you're still getting some of the same things that you really like. Another thing that a lot of people will make is they'll do I didn't bring real potatoes, but rather instant potatoes, just to show you that they like to make their mashed potatoes, and a lot of times we'll put gravy on it. Mashed potatoes, 1 cup, has about 237 calories and about 3 grams of fat. But now when you add the gravy, you got to add on more. Some of the other complements that we sometimes see, some people will eat a biscuit without butter, and that is about 250 calories for a single biscuit, but it also has about 10 grams of fat. So you can see, if you could leave that off, that would leave you some less fat and calories, and instead eat a serving of this dressing. What I have brought too are some different serving size. I was going to the store and found a paper plate that they're selling for Thanksgiving meal. This is actually probably way too large because the normal person will think that we need to fill all that space. Instead, we should go for a regular size plate or a smaller size and put what you want to start with. Take a glass of water with you, drink a little bit before you start, and then take your time. Chew, savor, enjoy the company around you. We don't have to rush to see who gets seconds. Just go ahead, enjoy what you're having. Give your body a chance to digest and to see if you're really hungry. It takes a few minutes between when we put it in our mouths, it gets into our stomachs until our head is signaled that we're full. So taking your time, chewing, enjoying the people you're with good conversation is always a good thing. Next is desserts. A lot of people, I know diabetes is one of those that we have to be a little careful of the sugar intake and the starches. One thing we can do is you can start with a walk before the meal to help make sure that we're getting our metabolism up, and then choosing a dessert you like, but trying to make the one that's best. We have several pictures there of pies, and you can see that the one with the most calories would be the pecan pie, and the one with the least is pumpkin pie. We do have an example here of some desserts that you might see, and I really like the way they prepared this. What they did is they took the traditional pumpkin pie filling, I guess you could even do a sweet potato filling, and they baked it in a cupcake container and topped it. You can see it's a serving size. It's minus the crust, so this would be a better choice without losing your flavor or taste. Now look at this oversized brownie. This is probably, if you cut it and did truffle, this is probably got anywhere from 2 to 4 servings there. So if you chose this, you just know that you would have to take and walk a whole lot and cut off a lot of carbs, because this one will be very carb dense with very little. Well, the pecans might have a little bit of nutrients, but other than that, not much as far as nutrition. When you're cooking, think about the things that we're using for flavor. They've left a couple of the unsaturated fats here that you can use. There's olive oil. That's always a good thing for like your vegetables when you're trying to give them a little bit of a saute. There's also the pecan. They've got some pecan oil that you can use, and so you can use different flavors to give it taste. Adds, if you like, onions. We did with the green beans. We've used some almonds. Just use it, and garlic. Yes, garlic's a good one. Some people even, believe it or not, like a little bit of the vinegars on them, or in hot sauce. The red pepper vinegar is what I want to say. So the big thing I think for us to remember is this is the time of the season where you don't have to deny yourself. We just have to choose which things are most satisfying for us that we really want. Choose the one thing. If that pumpkin pie is what you want, then take the pumpkin pie, but then say, okay, maybe I'll do without the piece of cornbread, or decide what you can give up. I would definitely encourage the vegetables, and if they have a salad, that's great too. You can have that with it, and try to do more of the vegetables that don't have the heavy sauces. Now, at my household, we don't do much cream spinach, but they were saying that a serving of that has 11 grams of fat, and if you're trying to watch your weight and balance things, that's a whole lot of fat. So remember, anytime you put extra butter and things like that in, that's going to increase your caloric intake as well as your fat intake. Some of the things that I think are real important is don't deny yourself where you're starving, but use portion control. So you remember what our portion sizes are. Remember a tablespoon, the decacard size if we're doing our meat and things like that.
Can you go back over those again? Portions?
Okay, so like a deck, a meat size would be about the size of your deck of cards or your palm of your hand. If I was doing like mashed potatoes, you know, an ice cream scoop, which is about a little more than a tablespoon. It's about a half a cup or so. When you do that, that's there. Actually, a lot of times it is kind of handy when you're first learning to actually use measuring utensils to see what it is. Now, I think it's a little bit harder at the Thanksgiving table than the other, so maybe you would say 2 tablespoons would equal about a half a cup. Always remember too, some people during the holidays will put alcohol at the table or punches. Just remember those all will affect your blood sugar and do have calories. We always veer for moderation, and but if this is in moderation with your family and you feel comfortable, then let God be your yes. Let him show you which way you should go. Other healthy fats that you could have is like an avocado, slice of avocado. Sometimes some people would like that. Again, I would choose if instead of the homemade mashed potatoes, baked sweet potato or roasted sweet potato without having any of the butter or anything on it. Just roast it up, and you could put a little bit of some seasoning. I personally like a little bit of onions or pepper or something like that. That makes it taste very, very flavorful. Instead of mashed potatoes, use cauliflower. You can what do I want to say? Walmart has in the freezer sections, you can get bags of the cauliflower. That's about $1. Put it in the. They have cauliflower rice. They have regular cauliflower. Cook it. I think it's about 5 minutes in my microwave. You take it out. It's already cooked. You can open it up, put it in your and then mash it up. And then you can add a little bit of what you would to make it like the consistency of the mashed potatoes if you like. So you feel like you're getting the same thing, but you've got less glycemic, it's not going to raise your blood sugar as much, and you're going to have fewer calories. So again, we're not trying to deprive you. We're just thinking of ways that you can eat and be satisfied and not feel like you're denying yourself. Again, this is not about dieting, it's about lifestyle. We have to eat for life. You always will. So now we just have to come up with the best ways to eat and do it balanced over time. I think I've heard that the typical Thanksgiving meal is over 3,000 calories, which is way more than a daily allowance, at least a time or two more than. Typically females have a lower caloric intake need than males, and if we're sedentary, not really walking a lot, and sometimes we overestimate our walking. A good thing, if you ever could, is to get like a little pedometer that you can get at like Walmart and put on your belt and just count your steps. They usually say, and you have to start where you are, but they say a good goal is like 10,000 steps a day. And another thing, sorry, I'm jumping around, but the fresh vegetables that are in season, our greens. I just got some turnip greens last week from Keith, and he's still selling. The greens are outstanding. Fix those up. They're full of nutrition. Now, if you're on Coumadin, that's not your thing. But if you're not, that's a very good, healthy vegetable, a side dish. It has fiber, and it would be really good. So other things to think about is how to prepare for the day of Thanksgiving. The first thing I would say is don't starve yourself that morning. Be sure to eat some breakfast. And a good thing would be something with protein. So for me, I like yogurt. Some people like hard-boiled eggs, but eat something with some protein. Another thing you can do is when you have the turkey that's in the oven, take a walk. I like to rake the yard, don't ask me why, but do something fun, get moving. You have some healthy snacks so that when you're smelling the smells and you're tempted to go, you have something to pick up. So pre-prepare. Some of the healthy snacks that you can have include air pop popcorn. You could fix some hummus by taking some chickpeas, put them in the blender with just a little bit of some olive oil and blend it up, and then you could take a couple things you could do. You could either take some whole grain pita chips and do that, you know, serving size wise, or I like celery, putting it in. I like the crunch on it. Or if you like celery, do celery and peanut butter. Carrots are always a good one if you like that. Some nuts. Now, nuts are a good protein. They'll fill you up. The biggest thing to remember is portion size. So it may be easier or better for someone, if you have trouble at first, to take and to get the individual portion, so you know what a portion size is. It's not the whole can. Fresh fruit can be good. The fruits that have the lowest glycemic index tend to be our berries. And then the next things we would go for would be those with some fiber. So that I would think more of my orange or my apple or pear or something like that, that has a lot of good fiber source and minerals and vitamins. So those are some good snacks. Things to remember again is watch your serving plate. We eat with our eyes, so make lots of colors if you can, because the more vegetables we have and colors there, the better it is and the more nutrients we get. Try to pick a smaller plate and take your time. Drink your water before, drink a little water before and a little water between as you're eating. Put your fork down as you take a bite. Chew your food. Enjoy your company. The food will be there, and you can always get seconds, but just take your time, because it takes a bit for your stomach to send messages to your head that you're full. Avoid sugar if you can. Anytime you can do things more fresh, it's better. With the pies, remember that your pecan pie has the highest calories and fat. Pumpkin would be one of the lesser ones. I like the way that the food mill set it up, where they did the pumpkin pie, but they built it, the pumpkin pie where she did the filling and baked it in a cupcake container. So it doesn't have the crust. It's got a portion size, and it looks really good. So this would be one serving you could do. Similarly, if you're an apple pie person, you know that has quite a bit because of the crust on top and bottom. Perhaps you just take a few of the fried apples, but do it in a serving size. Figure that your serving size is that cupcake size, and then measure it out, and then put it on something. So you're getting taste without the calories. Know that sometimes our servings are more than a serving. This is more than a proportion. This could probably be cut into fourths. And so remember what you're doing. So make the one that you really want, get what you want, but remember the portion size counts. And if you really do have to have that brownie, then maybe after eating you need to walk a little bit. And remember that beverages have calories unless it's unsweet or water, so make sure you do plenty of water. Be careful. A lot of times over the holidays, families will share a cup of wine or something with it, so be very careful. That will send your blood sugars up, and it does have calories without really satisfying you. If possible, fill up on the vegetables. The green beans, fresh versus the green bean casserole, fresh cranberries versus the jellied. I would do this baked sweet potato or roasted sweet potatoes in portion size rather than the sweet potato casserole or souffle that has the marshmallows and everything in it. Remember, anytime we're adding all that butter that gives flavor, we're adding calories. So try to think of other things to add flavor. Use your pepper, use your onion. Some people like garlic. We've used a little bit of some almonds on this, and you could even cut up like a little scallion or something there. Some people appreciate, I'm going to say pepper vinegar, where you got your red peppers and you put them there. Try to think if you're going to do a dressing, instead of the traditional cornbread or bread, how about you use the Quinoa? And look, it's even got your, I don't know if you can see, it's got sweet potatoes, it's got a little bit of raisins, and I think it's got some pecans in it.
We'll post the recipe.
Okay, the recipes will be posted, but just know that this is a protein source. There is no, it would be good for someone that has problems with gluten, as well as people that are vegetarian. So there are, at least right here, we have some vegetarian choices, as well as the pumpkin. So our vegetarians and gluten-free people, we've got you covered. Anytime it's more fresh, it's better. You do use what you can, but try to do it the more fresh, and try to use it with less of the fat. Sometimes we use some of the polyunsaturated oils, and some of the oils actually have some flavoring in them. For example, this has virgin pecan oil, so it's unsaturated, but it's got a little flavoring when you're doing, which might be good if you want a little extra flavor with your foods. Last week I was able to be off and got to go to Keith's Farmers Market, and there's all sorts of greens in season. And they are really good if you fix them up. Trying to think of what else to talk about. I think the biggest thing is finding balance. We're going to have to eat for life. This is a holiday. We want to enjoy the holiday. We want to spend time with our families. But it's just finding the balance of finding something that will satisfy our taste buds, give us nutrition without being in excess. Again, I've read lately that the average Thanksgiving meal is around 3,000 calories. That's more calories, almost, I'm going to say almost double the calories in a typical day that we need. Walking is always a good thing. I know sometimes it's hard to estimate what you're walking. So if you want, put a little pedometer on, and it'll just count your steps for the day. And make your steps maybe a goal. Start where you're at and aim for a goal. So most people don't get 10,000 steps in a day. That's what they say a goal is. Start where you are, so you know where you are, and just strive to go a little bit farther every day. And I think that's a big part of it. Don't drink your calories, watch your portions, enjoy your food, enjoy your family. So before we end, I think this is the day of Thanksgiving, and it says that we should praise the Lord for what He's done. This has been a mighty difficult year for a lot of people, but we're here, and we're sitting together, and we have food on the table. So let's remember to just thank God that He is sovereign, that He is overall, and that He is walking with us. And we thank Him for the bounty, the food that He has on the table before us, that the people that we love that are with us and that are in our lives. And we just ask to bless this food, and that for our nourishment, that we may bring glory to His name, and may the message of His love through Jesus Christ be proclaimed. And I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving.